Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. Hey everyone, this is episode 95 of the Real Estate Investing Podcast discussing building a six-figure land business. I'm your host, Daniel Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Before we get into the show, let's go over a question from one of our featured members in our free Discord community. Question is, I just finished the course and sent my first mailer. I want to get some goals for 2023 set. Currently, I'm a solo operation. I have about 15 to 20 hours per week to put in the business. Would love to hear your thoughts on goal setting in this situation.
Nice, really cool. And good question. I like this time of the year for goal setting. We're kind of working on that right now for 2023 based on just a variety of things. So Daniel and I are kind of talking about that every week. So this is a really good question. I think everyone should put some goals on paper. And the thing with goal setting is you never want to make it too easy and you want to make it attainable at the same time. And when we make goals personally, it's pretty big goals that we try to make for our businesses because 12 months is a long time. You can make a ton happen. But for you, you have 15 to 20 hours. You're sending mail. I think what we don't know in this, Daniel, is their budget or what they're willing to like spend on mail each month. But like if you're sending 5,000 mailers a month, I think for a net profit, I think four to 600,000, I would say, Daniel. I don't know. I'm interested to see what you think. I think somewhere in there, if you're sending more than 5,000 mailers, then up that closer to the 600,000 or $600,000 range.
So you're talking about a profit goal?
Yeah, that's more what I was kind of thinking of. I don't know if you have something
I
else.
would, for a big part of your goal, I like to look at like lead measures. What's going to get you to that? So yes, that's great to have $400,000 to $600,000 on pen and paper, but what's going to get you there? So break down your goals a little bit more with lead measures. So maybe a goal is send 5,000 or 8,000 mailers every single month on average and not miss a month. Like goals like that too, to break them down even further, I think is really good. A high level goal is great, but then break it down. What's going to get you there? At my old sales job, we used to call it lead measures. How many touches are we having? How many different presentations are we doing a week? Who are we getting in front of? Are we getting in front of the right people? So there's so many different things that if you do it and follow those lead measures that drive the business, in this example, mailers being one of them, if you hit that mailer for 12 straight months, 8,000 mailers, you're going to make $400,000, period, if you do it right. But yeah, that's what all I have to say. So yeah, set some big goals and then kind of work backwards from there and get some good lead measures in place. What's going to keep you on? Maybe you need to join an accountability group that we have in the course as well. But that's all I have. Any last things to add to that question? Really good question.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, I think if you guys are listening, start thinking about those goals and breaking them down, like Daniel said. That's really good.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into the show. Building a six-figure land business kind of goes hand in hand with that question, Ron. Maybe that's why we put it there. But I broke this down into three segments. So we're going to talk about the initial investment, what you need to prepare to spend to get this up and running. Then we're going to talk about mail. How much mail do you need to send and type of deals to target? Are we targeting $1,000 deals, Ron? Or are we targeting 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, $500,000 deals? Because that makes a big difference of your numbers at the end of the year, especially for that question. If you want to make 400 grand, you better get some higher offers out there, Ron, or 500 grand. And then just how to scale it to get to seven figures and tips. Once you have all these things down that we're going to talk about, scaling is going to be the easy part because it's just upping your mail and upping your operations, Ron. But let's get into the initial investment part.
Yeah, for sure. I like this starting point because I think so many people do come to us and like, what do I need to do to make $100,000? What do I need to do to make 150? Like, I'm just trying to replace that income from my job, or I'm trying to add income from my job, and that's why we wanted to make this episode because it's so common for people to ask, and I don't want to say it's a simple thing to do, is making $100,000 from land, but in terms of relative to how many hours you put in your 9 to 5 to make 100 grand, it's probably a lot less. But that initial investment, we always suggest $3,000 to $5,000. Education is key. What I've been seeing so much, and it's no harm from them, but people are not educating themselves or not doing enough. They're trying to send mail themselves. I know how costly it is. Those mail mistakes are much more costly than any education. So I think that's really important. The first step is educating yourself. And that investment's going to be from anywhere. It matters where you're trying to get educated, $500 to $2,500, somewhere around there. And then you're going to have your mail costs. I would suggest mail costs, sending 3,000 mailers a month, I think is more than realistic to make it happen. which is $2,000 or so a month. So I think your initial investment, just having that 3 to 5 grand, maybe 7 grand set aside for this, can easily make you that for that initial investment, and then you're going to make money and reinvest your money, hopefully, as you get farther down the line.
Absolutely, and I'm trying to think, $3,000 to $5,000 is kinda 3,000 is definitely the minimum, I'd say. And we always talk about if you guys have a job or a 9 to 5 or a way to make other money so you're not 100% relying on this, and maybe you can put $1,000 in every 2 months, and that can keep you going a little bit. Then you can send 2,000 mailers every month or so, or 3,000, whatever it is, whatever you need to do to stay consistent. What you don't wanna do is have $3,000 saved up. That's your whole life savings. You're gonna put this into mail, and then you can never spend money again if you don't get a deal on that. That's what you do not want, although I would still probably do that if I was in that situation just because I know what I'm doing. It's just really, really risky for your situation. You have to find a way to have income to keep investing until you get hit that, we say 4 to 8 month mark when we really start to see a profit return. So $3,000 plus some additional income coming in every month or two that you can maybe put $400 away, $500. Maybe if you have a good 9 to 5, I shouldn't say good. If you have a well paying 9 to 5, maybe you can put $1,000 in a month or something. So I think it all depends, Ron.
Yeah, I think that is the key to, from what I see from successful people, it is having that ongoing investment that they can put in, whether it's $500, 1,000, whatever it is. Having that ongoing investment and being willing to put that back into the business is so important in getting your feet off the ground. You're not going to have to do that after a few months once you have deals coming in, but those first few months being comfortable investing another, whatever it is, another $500, 1,000, whatever it is each month, is going to help get you over the hump. And then you're going to make the profits, and all that reinvested money is going to be going into your deals. It's not going to be your money from your 9 to 5 or anything like that.
And if you're really, really struggling, I mean, and we see it, Ron, with people in our group, people who struggle financially, but they're around for 4 to 5, 6 months consistently in our calls. And I have a few people I'm thinking of, and I know they can't send mail because they don't have money yet, but they're saving up and they're in the calls, they're networking in the community. You can find a partner with money. I've already identified certain people in my head that I'm like, okay, if he gets to the point where he can't send mail, I'll give him a $5,000 loan and split the profit or something like that. I just think there's so many different ways to get money if you're consistent in the community. Like people are rooting for you. And if you show that hard, consistent work, you can get investments if you need. Family, friends, great. If you don't have any of that can lend you money or help you out or partner with you, then come to the community and just network and try to find a partner with more money than you have.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. And there's people who are grinding every single day at this, and there are partners. You don't want to force a partnership, and we've talked about this. I think we have episodes alone just on partnerships and stuff like that. But there are people in the community who are looking for people in your shoes who are willing to really put in the work, learn, educate, and get that mail out. But yeah, that initial investment, 3,000 minimum, I think is important.
3,000 minimum. Get if you guys are at 3,000, honestly, I would like if I was in that situation, Ron, I had $3,000 and not much more income than that. I would seriously try to find a partner or a money partner or someone to just give you money and split profit on the end. Like if you're in there and you showed 3, 4 months of consistency of not sending mail and you're educating yourself in every call, like proving yourself, there's no way you don't make it work. I feel like, Ron, if you stay consistent with it. But let's move on to the next segment. And there's a lot of ways to get creative with that, Ron, and find money. There really is. But we even have people with credit card debt, things like that. So get creative. If you want to do it and you're consistent, it will pay off in the end. Next segment we're going to get into, guys, is how much mail do you need to send and types of deals to target. Ron, are we sending $500 offers out there to acquire some desert crap?
No, definitely not. So yeah, the types of deals I think is almost not more important than the amount of mail, but it's definitely important as well. Our goal is to target. I mean, I think buying for $7,000, I'm seeing it a lot. People buy in our group buying for 7,000, selling for 12, or not 12, I'm sorry, 22, 20, whatever it is,
Oh, that's beautiful.
19,000. Oh my gosh, those deals all day
Last
long.
night.
Yeah, we saw one in our Wednesday call last night. If you guys haven't been in there, those are always good. Seeing deals being analyzed, and I think it was buying for $7,000, and it's a $25,000 property. There's
Minimum.
very little risk there. So I think those, not necessarily staying that low, but as the minimum, that's what I'm probably going to target. Maybe buy for 5 and sell for 15 or something like that. It sounds good buying for 2,000, selling for 5,000, but trust me, the work is not worth what you get out of it. So that's what I would start with, is buying for 5, selling for 15, and then moving up from there where it's buying for 20, selling for 45. And then you'll have obviously partners and stuff like that. Those are the types of properties that we see the most deals from, where we're buying anywhere between 5 to 6,000 all the way up to 30, 40, $50,000.
Yeah, you said a lot there. So what also you guys have to keep in mind, do not eliminate more expensive deals because we had, for example, we had a member buy a property for, they bought quite a few properties, I believe, but they bought one for 30,000 and sold it for $68,000 in a day. This is a really recent situation. If they were just targeting ten to $20,000 offers, they wouldn't have got that. Their bank jumped from, and we funded this deal as well. So they got $17,000 of profit without putting a dime into it besides sending out the mail run. And that's what you got to realize. Like, do you want your bank to jump a few $1,000s, $3,000, or do you want to make an exponential leap and put 20 grand in your bank, then turn that 20 to 50, and then all of a sudden you have hundreds of thousands of dollars? You want to make a jump and use people's money to make that jump. You do not want to target these buy one, sell four. Great, you're going to get 2,500 bucks in your bank after closing costs, or $2,000, which is good for some people, but you got to realize, like, you have the same chances of getting higher, more expensive deals. This works for anything, Ron.
Yeah, 100%. And let's get into the amount of mail. I think I think 3,000 mailers a month. I think you can do a decent amount with 3 to 4,000 mailers a month. You're going to get a lot of calls. You're going to get deals like that. And we're talking about making six figures. So I'm thinking about like making 100 grand in a year. I think sending 3,000 a month is going to make you 100 grand. That's only 36,000, or that is 36,000 mailers in a year. You're going to get 15 to 20 deals. If you're doing things the way we're teaching it, you're going to, without a doubt, 36,000 mailers, probably closer to 15 deals. You're going to make anywhere from 12 to $25,000 per deal. That probably puts you closer to 250 grand annual. Am I right? If it's like $20,000 deals, if it's
It's around
300
300.
grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
Before
mean,
profit splits, if you have to split your profits with people the first few deals.
yeah, but yeah, I think sending 3,000 a month, I think is not more than enough, but it's definitely enough. If you want to go a little higher in the six figures, you're going to need to send a little more. But I think 3,000 puts you in a really good spot.
I agree. 3,000. I always say 3 to 5,000. The more, the better. Don't go above eight really when you're starting, because you're just going to get overwhelmed. I think 3,000 is a good number. It's more about consistency though. Like, if you just hit 3,000 one month and not the next, and then 3,000 again, it's gonna. I think more than the volume is the consistency, to be honest. So commit to that number, 3,000 a month for 6 months, and then evaluate, because that's what's going to move this your needle forward. That's what's going to make you money at the end, Ron.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. You want to get on to segment two, or do you have anything to add on that?
So, I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to get into, is just the 30-day challenge. The 30-day challenge is because we talked about initial investment and how many mailers you need to target to build a six-figure business. That's what the 30-day challenge is for, Ron. These people are coming in to it. It gives them exactly what to do. They get a deal in 30 days. We tell them how much mail. It's more simplified. It's starting your business, 30-day challenge, starting your business. How much mail do I need to send? Basic stuff. And then it actually dives in deep. And then once we talk about these scaling, round, there's like the advanced modules and things like that we're going to get into. Scaling to seven figures, it gets more advanced. But the 30-day challenge, what we have is for the first two segments we talked about, like your initial investment and how much mail you need to send. And we actually teach how to execute on that mail. But we can get into the getting to seven figures. So say, like you said, we just did the math, around about 300 grand for that person sending 3,000 a month. 3,000 mailers get you about 300 grand of profit annually. How do we take that and how do we put that to 1.1 million, Ron?
I mean, I think obviously sending more mail. The answer is always, I'm never going to say like, let's just get better with our 3,000 mailers. I'm not the person that's going to give you that advice. There's a limit to how efficient your mail can be. And maybe you can make your 3,000 mailers profit 500 grand, but you're not going to make your 3,000 mailers profit $1 million in my mind. Maybe you can, I don't know. But my advice is going to be scaling your mail up, scaling your systems up with people and with systems. I think those are the two things that are going to help you grow, whether it's a transaction coordinator or a virtual assistant doing some tasks for you. But you need to get the mail out. If you're really good at pricing and doing that, you need to be sending 10 to 12,000 mailers every single month consistently. So you have consistent deal flow over the 12 months. It's not making seven figures. Once you do it the first year, like you can scale up and go whatever, 5 million, whatever it is. Going from $100,000, if that's your first year goal, whatever, maybe you only do 100,000. You're working a job, and like after a year, I can quit and I want to hit 7 figures. That's a big jump, and it's going to be a lot of moving parts in your business. And like I said, people and systems are going to be vital for you to make that jump from 100 to 10xing. Dan, 10xing is what it would be if they were jumping from 100 to $1 million.
In the way we're teaching it, it's hard to only make $100,000 from the 30-day challenge run. It's if you're sending out 3,000 mailers. I mean, I guess if your profit split on every deal, you're still probably going to make more than that. And then what happens, Ron, and what typically happens is then you see, oh crap, this actually works. This isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I just made 40 grand off a deal. And then you start sending out more mail and get more consistent because you see the results, Ron. And I just think scaling to 7 figures, you hit it on the head. I think I don't have too much to add to that. I just think consistency, upping your mail and keeping your systems and processes in place, getting a CRM. We're developing one right now for you guys. It's going to be an Airtable downloadable template with videos and everything to kind of walk you through how to set it up. You need systems like that. You're going to need a software like that. Different, you'll probably need a employee or multiple employees if you're 7 figures. So it's really, you learn that as you go. Don't think of what you're going to need when you're 7 figures. Just add as you need as you go, right? Put your CRM in place, add your CRM, hire your first employee. Just keep adding, and all of a sudden you'll be beyond 7 figures.
I mean, before you know it, and where we've kind of come, like there's not always something you have to do like on a from a day-to-day basis in our business. Like there are some days like all I have to do from like that day basis is review a few deals, send a few wires, maybe get my wiring instructions out. And that's really it on, and then we add the big picture stuff. So I'm doing interviews for future employees and stuff like that. But before you know it, like it's crazy how fast and slow it is at the same time, Dan. It's kind of weird to say it like that, but it's like it's a long process for hiring one person alone, but you do that over and over. And all of a sudden, like all your roles, all your seats are filled. And the way to grow is by now we just go to the next level of systems and people. We add more mail. We hire a data person to send a ton of mail out. We improve our systems, and I don't know. It's like fast and slow at the same time when you're growing. So it's a weird thing, but before you know it, like you have a full staff and you have a full CRM and a system that's just operating almost without you.
I agree. Well, I don't have anything else to add. I think we touched on each three segment really well, Ron.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you for joining. To get started and unlock your potential freedom, visit landinvestingonline.com/Discord. It's our free Discord community where Ron and I are involved and a ton of other successful investors. Guys, it means a lot if you like this podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever you guys are listening on. It really means a lot. We don't do ads on this, so it really gives us instant feedback, and we understand what you guys are looking for and what you're not looking for. That feedback and reviews really, really help our business. Other than that, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.
Thanks, guys.